1988 as I was praying. And I had just found out that I was pregnant. And I had a son that was only 4 months old, so I wasn't honestly real happy about being pregnant. And I was pretty upset and telling God about it. You know, he's my friend, I can tell him those things. And he let me rant and rave for a while, because I already had an 18-month-old, I had a 4-month-old, and I was about to have another one. And God began to speak to me, and he told me, he said, there's going to be something very special about this child. And he went on and told me some amazing things. And I thought, God, I will never question you again. His ways are so far above our ways. Sometimes we just don't understand. But that child is my daughter, Jasmine Patricia Mason, who is now Jasmine Patricia Hamby. Jasmine.
Everybody, I'm Jasmine. John asked me to come and tell my testimony and make some of my poems, so that's what I'm going to do. I was born in Heidelberg, Germany. My dad was in the army, and so we traveled quite a bit. And so my older brother and I were both born in Germany, and I was homeschooled growing up, and I did Bible quizzing. I don't know if anybody here knows what Bible quizzing is, except for my family, but it's where young people memorize verses from the Bible, selected verses from the Bible, and then they go and compete against other teams of children who have learned the same verses, and they're asked different questions. And so I did that for 9 years growing up. We went to nationals. I quizzed with my siblings most of the time, and I was Quizzer of the Year 1 year, which was a very high honor to get that. And so I had several dreams growing up. I wanted to get married, of course, and have children. I wanted to be a veterinarian. I wanted to go to college, and I definitely wanted to travel the world. We left Germany when I was 9 months old, and so I really wanted to go back to Germany. That was one of my big, big dreams. In my senior year of high school, I was 17 years old. It was 2006. I experienced some severe headaches that would put me in bed with the curtains pulled for all day long. And at the end of that year, in November, I experienced a very sharp pain in my back, which drove me to my knees because it was so bad. And my mom said, "Do you want me to take you to the doctor?" And I said, "No, doctors won't be able to do anything about it." I had had something similar to that happen before, but the pain hadn't stayed for very long, but they had taken me to the ER, and they were like, "Well, we don't know what it is, so you have to go home." So that time I was like, no, they won't do anything about it anyway, so I didn't want to go. But this time, it wasn't like time before, and it stayed. And eventually, it would ease up, and sometimes it would go away, but then it would come right back. And so my mom finally said, "If you're not better by the first of the year, you're going to the doctor." And so the first of the year came around, and so did the first of several doctor's appointments. I have had several EEGs, which they test your brain waves, and I was diagnosed with complex partial seizures. And I've had CAT scans, I've had EKGs, I've had MRI, actually is sick with the same thing that I am. You can see her over in the wheelchair over there, she's raising her hand. We're actually sick with the same thing, and she got sick later than I did, and so I had already gone through so much testing. I said, when she got sick, I said, okay, now it's your turn to get the testing done. I've had so much testing. And so they said, well, we know you have the same thing, so who wants to be the guinea pig? I said, let her do it. So I've already gone through that. So she kindly stepped in and had a ton of blood work done. I had cognitive dysfunction, which is a fancy way of saying that my brain does not process things correctly. I get confused very easily, which is very hard for somebody that was so active and did Bible quizzing when I was younger, and I was able to see clearly when I was younger, to have cognitive dysfunction when I'm in my 20s. I'm 24 years old, and I will be 25 soon. And so it's very, very difficult to not be able to process what somebody is telling you. That's very, very hard. It got to the point where stuff was so bad that I would have to walk out of a church service. Now, in my family growing up, you went to church. It didn't matter if you were sick or not. That's just what you did. You go to church. If you're sick, you go to church. If we'll pray for you at church. You did that. That's just what you did. And so I ended up having to quit the choir and helping out with the nursery because I got so sick and the fatigue was absolutely overwhelming. I could not stand for long periods of time. So I had to quit those things. The body pain continued. It spread throughout. Instead of just being in my back and my head, it spread throughout my whole body. And so there were times that I would just cry because I was hurting all over, and it was so hard. And so it just kept getting worse and worse, and honestly, they still haven't figured out what it is that is causing all of this, but they're treating the symptoms, we'll put it that way. In 2009, in October, my little brother committed suicide. He was 18 years old. He and I were very, very close, and it was very shocking. He shot himself, and he had been having a lot of difficulties. He had walked away from God, and had been having several difficulties. And he had been put in the hospital for anorexia, and he was cutting himself because when you don't have God in your life, you try to find other things to replace that, and you can't find anything to replace God. You just can't. And he knew that, but he still tried. And when he died, I felt like my world was torn apart. I felt like it was just falling apart. It was so hard. And I wrote a poem about it because we were so close, and I felt like because he died, my world fell apart. And then I realized that no matter how much I loved my brother, God is my world, not my brother. My brother's part of my world, but God is my world. And so I want to read this poem. What seems to be my world seems to be crashing down around me. I look around and feel so frightened, but then I feel you near me. And when I turn around and I look into your eyes, a gentle peace comes over me, and I suddenly realize you are my world, and you're not falling apart, even when things around me seem to break my heart. You are my world, and you always stay the same, no matter what the weather, be it sunshine or rain. You are my world, and when I look into your eyes, I know I'll be okay, and everything will be just fine. You are my world, and you are my hiding place. You love me and hold me, and you keep me safe. You are my world, and even when life is all wrong, you are still my joy, and you are still my song. And when what seems to be my world seems to be crashing down, when hurt, confusion, and chaos is what I see when I look around, I'll rest in the knowledge that this one thing is true. My world is not crumbling because my world is you. So that's a poem that I wrote shortly after my brother's death. And it was comforting to know that even with the brokenness that I felt, my world wasn't crumbling because God doesn't crumble. God stays the same no matter what. And he's there to hold us when we think our world is crumbling. And he's there to remind us that he doesn't crumble. And he is our world. Like I said, I wanted to get married. And after my brother died, I was at a doctor's appointment. It was a Friday. And I finally decided that I wasn't going to get married until whatever was wrong with me was fixed. They found out what was wrong and it got fixed, you know. The next day, I found out that a gentleman was in love with me. That was a complete surprise for me because I had no idea. I knew this gentleman, and he had come over to our house several times, but I had no idea he was in love with me. And so I found out. And actually, shortly thereafter, I married that gentleman. His name is Zane, and his lovely mother is here as well. Her name's Karima. And they allowed me to join their family. And so that was one dream that came true. And so that was so exciting. You know, one of my dreams came true. But so many that they weren't going to come true. I want to have children, but because of my disability, having children would probably not be the best thing. Sometimes I shake so much I can't hold things. Sometimes I forget where I'm at or who people are. And that's a dangerous situation to put a child into. And so, you know, it's not an easy thing, but I want children, you know. And so it feels like that dream has been taken away. And the dream of going to Europe, you know, of playing right that long, I'm claustrophobic now that